Hello, everybody. My name is Barax. Barax, I don't care. And today, I've officially watched every single Godzilla movie. So today, I'm going to be talking about every single one in order. So, there are going to be two exceptions in this video. I guess kind of three. For ones I can't really decide. I'll be rating them as well. So, we'll start out with Godzilla 1954, the original Godzilla. This is the first one I can't really decide on because guess what? To me, it's not what Godzilla is. To me, it's too dark, too not fun. But unfortunately, this is what Godzilla was. This is what Godzilla started as. So, personally, in my opinion, it's not a very amazing Godzilla movie to me, but it's it's the original Godzilla, so I can't really put my mind on it. Next, we're gonna end it there. Godzilla Raids Again. I'll give this one probably a 5 out of 10 because half of it's supposed to be human action, half of it's supposed to be monster action. The monster action is very fun, and Geras and Godzilla go at it a lot, but the characters are forgettable and not really enjoyable to me. So I think it does half of what a Godzilla movie does good, but that's about it. Next, King Kong versus Godzilla. Ooh, this is one that's a bit iffy for me, but because I got a Blu-ray version. I want to grab it. At Walmart. So, I actually do own this one. It's alright. I love it. I give it 8 out of 10. Because the comedy's fun, the characters are fun. I didn't get to get the good version, so I'm pretty sure if I got the good version, it'd be at least 9. But I think 8 is good, because it does really good with monster action. The characters are likable, but the American scenes are boring, so that puts it down a level at least. But personally, I think it's one of the best original Godzilla movies. It's pretty good. Godzilla vs. Mothra 3. This movie's boring to me. The Godzilla action, at least actually I'll give it a 4. Specifically because Godzilla by himself does some pretty enjoyable stuff, beating up some tanks. But his fight with Mothra is boring. Both fights. And then comes the humans. Oh, jeez, the humans. They're forgettable, boring, and just not very fun. I don't like this movie. It's boring. It takes too much time to develop characters, but it just doesn't keep my interest. So I personally don't like it that often. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. I'd give it 7. Personally, I feel like the human characters are fun and very enjoyable to watch. But the fight between all the monsters, 3 of them are puppets, basically, for most of the fight. And puppets don't work very well, in my opinion. Like, they'll work, but the fact that they just don't work very well is the problem. They are not enjoyable to watch, so I'd give it at least, what did I say? A 6? Yeah, I'll go 6. It's alright. Invasion of Astro Monster. We'll go down to 5. Specifically because I feel like this is basically the last movie. I know what you're thinking. They're completely different. Ghidorah should not get 2 movies in a row. It makes Ghidorah less enjoyable. So I personally don't like this movie. It's going down to 5. It has the same problems as the original. I personally don't like it that much. So we're gonna we're not doing that one. Ebra, Horror of the Deep, 7. I know what you're thinking. You're gonna point a gun at my head because you're giving this movie a better rating than Invasion of Astro Monster. Well, guess what, Cheeky? I like this movie. Actually, I'll put it down to a 5 for you, specifically because the monster action, not as amazing. Actually, no, 6, 6 for sure. I like the effects on Ebra. I find it kind of enjoyable to watch. Ebra is actually, I like Ebra. The effects on the other characters are, the effects on the monsters are actually pretty good. They're enjoyable to watch. The voice acting for the one I got, here, I'll grab it. Hold on. That's a different one. Hold on. It is. There you go. This one was actually released by, I don't actually know. Take a nice look at that back part. If you can figure out who launched this, I recommend getting this one. It's the 50th anniversary Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. The dubbing is great on it. It's fun. It's great. The characters in this movie are awesome. I love them. They're very enjoyable. Monster action is less though because they aren't as intriguing as other monsters. But I personally like it. Son of Godzilla. 6. The human story is actually pretty good. Manila is awful. I don't like him. He should never have been put in the story. If Manila wasn't in the story, I think it'd be much better. Because Kamakuris and Kamanga are both pretty good. I like them both. So that's one good thing about it. Second thing, I think Godzilla has a good role in this. Personally, I feel like the Godzilla suit they used was kind of buggy, kind of not as good. Like he was on drugs. But personally, I don't think it was that awful. It did take me 2 tries because I got bored and left during half of the movie and then came back the next day and watched more. But personally, if you're looking to watch them all, this is not the worst. I'll tell you that for sure. Destroy all monsters. 7. Takes a bit of time to start going. Personally, I don't feel like the characters in this one were as intriguing as like ever a Horror of the Deep or Godzilla vs. Sea Monster. But monster action's pretty good. I like how Baragon finally got introduced into the series because Baragon's awesome and you can't change my mind. But I like this movie. It's good. It's good. It's a great movie. I'll tell you that. Well, Godzilla's Revenge, All Monsters Attack. 0. I don't care. This is the worst Godzilla movie I have ever watched. Godzilla is barely in it. Manila is boring. The characters, the human characters, awful, annoying. I hate them. I feel like the old grandpa though, like the toy maker. He was alright. Actually, the toy maker puts it up to a 1 because I like the toy maker. The rest of it's awful. Gabara, on the other hand, I actually don't like. I don't mind the design of Gabara, but he's literally a bully, which is not threatening at all. It's not a very enjoyable movie for kids or for adults. For any generation, it's not a good movie. And I grew up with and you know what? That's coming from a person whose average entertainment was the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. That was what I grew up with. Well, next, Godzilla vs. Hedorah. 4. This movie is awful in my opinion. It's nowhere near as good as any other movie I've watched. Besides, I guess, All Monsters Attack. It's too slow. It's better if you... Now, this is known as Godzilla on acid, in my opinion. And I can see it. Yep, it's weird. Pretty awful. But it's not the worst. Hedorah, whatever I don't care, is actually really good. I like Hedorah. He's a great design and a great character. Godzilla's theme song was iffy. The characters were alright, but personally, it wasn't a very good movie. I'll give it a 4. It gets its 4 from the characters, not the monster action. Actually, gains 1 from the monster, Hedorah, but the rest of it's pretty boring. Godzilla vs. Gigan, a 3. Actually, no, I'll give it at least a 5. Because this movie is boring. Well, actually, I take that back completely. It's the opposite of boring. It's actually very intriguing until the monster fight comes in. As soon as the human characters are no longer a part of the movie, basically, Godzilla and King Ghidorah, and Gigan are boring to watch. I personally hate this movie. I almost fell asleep watching it. It's boring. The monsters, there was no music. The monster action was just too slow and not enjoyable. So a 5, but it gets us 5 from all of the main characters, because the human story in this one is what you want to come here for. That movie is known to me for its characters. Godzilla vs. Megalon. I'll give it a 6 because I actually like this movie. It's fun, it's goofy, and it's exactly what a Godzilla movie should be to most people. Fun and entertaining. It's not the worst, I'll tell you that. But what it isn't is well, enjoyable for a much older generation. Personally, if you want to get your little kid, if you want to introduce Godzilla to a little kid, this movie's perfect. It's literally so kid friendly. Megalon's enjoyable. Jet Jaguar actually doesn't look that bad. Godzilla's enjoyable. And Gigan makes another appearance. This is where I think Gigan really comes from. It's from this movie. It's much better. That one kid, I don't remember his name. He was very annoying, but personally, it wasn't the worst I've heard. So at least 6, because it's not a bad movie in my opinion. Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. 6, 5, 7 actually. We'll go with the 7. This movie is great in my opinion. It's fun, just like the last one. It's all about having fun, while also making intriguing characters and story. Personally, I think this is a great movie, and if you're a Godzilla fan, you should totally watch this. The end battle is great. The human characters are a bit kind of more boring on the boring side, so I at least give it a 7. I like it. I like it. Terror of Mechagodzilla. The other Godzilla movie, I can't give my opinion on, because this was the first Godzilla movie I ever watched. Every time I watch it, it's nothing but nostalgia. Personally, I find it, oh my god, it's amazing. But I can't really give my opinion. I love Titanosaurus, and you can't change my mind. Titanosaurus' roar is also pretty iconic in my opinion. Godzilla, it's a great movie. It's a bit darker, but it's in fact fun. It's a darker story, but a much more intense and fun monster action. I think it's a great movie, but I can't really give my opinion because I see nothing but nostalgia. This is the other one I can't give my full opinion on. Godzilla, The Return of Godzilla. 8. This movie is fantastic. So, hold on a second. I have this one on DVD, and it's actually from Kraken Releases. You see that? Kraken Releases. This movie got a bad rating because the human story and the Dr. Pepper commercial parts from the people that most people saw was distracting and not enjoyable. This one does not have those parts. This is the original Japanese movie with English dubbing over it. The dubbing is good and enjoyable. Easily an amazing movie. Personally, I gave it a bit of a lower rating compared to like the best. It's not amazing. It's not perfect because Godzilla's design, in my opinion, isn't fantastic, but it's iconic, and I like this movie. I'll give it even a 9. Kraken Releases make some good ones, boys. I am not even sponsored. I legitimately was super amazed by their amazingness. Godzilla vs. Biollante. This is the third one that I think I can't really give my opinion. Personally, I love this movie. This is actually the most recent one. But I might have accidentally bought the Japanese version, so I couldn't really understand much, except for the American actors. I personally like it because I was giving them different names, and I liked it. So, personally, I find this movie to be fantastic. So, I'll give it at least a 9, because this movie is great in so many ways. Biolante's awesome. Godzilla's awesome. The characters are fun. The characters are also intriguing. This movie is the closest, probably one of the closest perfect Godzilla movies you'll ever find. So 9. We'll move on to the next now. Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah. I like this movie. If you ignore the time travel plot and just go with the flow, it's all around just a fun movie. You should not be going to a Godzilla movie thinking you're going to get a serious story, all about being serious and how awesome. A Godzilla movie is fun, and it's a guy walking around in a rubber suit. What do you expect? I like this movie. I'll give it at least a 7. Because King Ghidorah is not as an enjoyable boss. It's not the most intriguing monster. Because he's not really amazing at fighting. It's just shooting beams. And with puppets, that's really all you can do. But I like this movie. Its soundtrack is good. Its characters are also very intriguing. It's fun. You can always watch this with a friend and have a lot of fun. So, I'll give this one a 7. Because I actually do enjoy it. Godzilla vs. Mothra. 5. 4. This movie's nowhere near as good as the last one. 4. Because not only is the monster action boring, 2 puppets flying at each other. Actually, Batra was enjoyable. The monsters look good, and the effects on it are also pretty good, but it's just not that great because the monsters are just kind of boring. They don't really do much, and well, Godzilla doesn't do much. 2 puppets flying around at each other is just not as enjoyable. Beam attacks is what I call the Heiseiitis, because all the Heisei movies have a very constant theme of just shooting beams at each other. That's all it is. So this one's a very serious case of Heiseiitis. So at least a 4. It's not that amazing. Godzilla vs. Godzilla 2! I like this movie. This was actually, I think, the second Heisei movie I want. No, third, I think. I like it. Mechagodzilla is fun. I actually do like the design. Rodan is fun to see him back. Godzilla is pretty good. This plot is enjoyable. Baby Godzilla is not Manila. He's actually good. Personally, I like this movie because it's just fun. So I recommend this movie. I'll give it probably the same thing as so I give King Ghidorah 7. I'll give this one 8. It's good. Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. We'll go down back to 7. Space Godzilla and the monster action is fun, but feels like it's taking itself too seriously in this movie, but it's not a problem. The story's a bit harder to find and really feel. The characters aren't as enjoyable because our basically main character is a complete jerk and selfish. Obviously, he'll learn his differences, but it's still not enjoyable. So I'll give it a 7, specifically because the monster action and the story is actually pretty good. I like Mogira, and because this is supposed to be the upgrade version of Mechagodzilla, it makes Space Godzilla look ever so more powerful, which is why I kind of like him. Also, some people say that Space Godzilla, it's just a crystallized Godzilla. It's literally a clone of Godzilla. What do you expect? Sometimes I question people's opinions because they're completely idiotic. It's like when people say Titanosaurus is just a fishier Godzilla. Destroyer is a more crustacean Godzilla. Hedorah's a poop Godzilla. Let's go with another one. Gigan is a cybernetic Godzilla. Orga is a space weird looking Godzilla. What a version of Godzilla looks like? Is it looks like Godzilla? First of all, Space Godzilla is a clone. It's supposed to look like that. We're moving on. I'm getting to a rant. I'll talk about this later in a different video if I can. Godzilla vs. Destroyer. Ooh, a 9. Yeah, 9. I cried in this movie. This was the first movie I actually cried in. At the end, obviously. If you haven't watched it, you should. Destroyer is intimidating. It's actually very scary. It's a very enjoyable villain. Burning Godzilla is awesome, and it's all around a great movie in my opinion. One of the best in the Heisei series. Only slightly below Godzilla vs. Biollante. Okay. Godzilla 1998. This is what most of you guys are probably thinking of. Alright, so let's just say this for the people who came here for me to say it's awful. It's awful, it's not Godzilla. Okay, that's out of the way. Now for my actual opinion. I'd give it a 6. I like the design of Zilla. I respect him as a character. I personally like his roar. In my opinion, Zilla's the least problem in the movie. It's a basic monster movie. I personally found it entertaining. So I don't know why other people don't. I know there are people who found it entertaining because I can't be the only one. Personally, I think we should forgive Zilla for his apparent sins that he never asked for. The back plates look awesome. I like the movie as well. The soundtrack is fantastic. The effects aren't the worst I've seen. They're actually pretty good for what I've seen. Remember what I grew up with? Also, if you have never watched the Godzilla, the series, cartoon show, you haven't lived. If you watch it, it might change your opinion on Zilla. Because it changed my opinion. I love him now because of that one movie. So personally, I give this one a 6. Obviously, acting is clunky and all around kind of confusing and not very good. It's a bit of a ripoff of Jurassic Park at the end, but it's alright, I'll tell you that. I actually think I heard a Jurassic Park Velociraptor scream from the babies. Next, Godzilla 2000. Woo! I'll give it 6, 7. It's the most basic Godzilla movie. Godzilla is basic. He's what Godzilla is. The other monster, Orga, is basic. He's what he should be, an antagonizing opponent. The story is basic. And if you want your friends, let's say, a person who's brand new to Godzilla, this is a perfect movie to introduce them to it. It's just enjoyable. Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. Oh well, I gave the one like a 7. Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. I like it. I'll give it at least a 6. The human story is too serious for its own good. But the monster action is fun and enjoyable. I like it. I like the end fight, and I like Godzilla's role. I like how goofy it is, and I like how they take themselves seriously, but you shouldn't. I'll give it at least a 6 because I do enjoy it, but it has some serious problems, like the fact that the story is too serious, and I guess it's just unrealistic. Even for a monster movie, it doesn't make much sense. Like a black hole gun doesn't make sense. GMK 9. The effects are fantastic. The story is fantastic. The monsters are fantastic. This human story is fantastic. 10. This is what I would consider to be the perfect Godzilla movie. It's so fun. It's so awesome. The effects are fantastic. I love this movie. Godzilla is way too cool. And it does not say it's a little kid's movie. No way in hell. This movie's fantastic. And I personally think it's a 10. Possibly 9, but it's probably one of the closest to perfect money in movies you'll ever find. Godzilla against Mechagodzilla. I'd give it an 8. I got really into the characters in this one. I wanted to see what happened in the sequel. When I first watched this movie, I immediately watched the second one directly after. Hold on, I'm yawning. I directly watched the second movie right after it because the characters are fun. They're awesome. Godzilla is a bit doesn't really do much, but what it does do right is some good things. Kiryu is awesome. The characters are awesome. I'd at least give it an 8 or a 7. This is a decent movie, and it's very underrated. In fact, Tezuka from Kiryu Metal God, was actually the director, as you can see, Masakari Tezuka. I named him after that because it's awesome. Tokyo SOS, 5. I got so dedicated to those characters that I immediately watched the sequel. And then they just took all those characters and threw them away. The characters they replaced them with are awful and not enjoyable. Godzilla gets a bit more screen time and is a bit more better. It's still a decent movie, but it kind of hurt me. Some movies just do this, like the Rebirth of Monster series. They make you get attached to these characters, and then you just forget them, just throw them all away. This happens so often, and I hate it. The only sequel I've seen that doesn't do this is like I think the way Gamera did it was much better by introducing more characters, but still using their old ones. But it's not that good. What I say? Like I'd say 7, 6. It's not very good. Godzilla Final Wars. Ooh, I like this one. I give it at least an 8. You're looking at it like it's a disgrace, but yes, this is meant for the 50th anniversary. Personally, I don't mind the skinnier suits. I'll actually grab my Godzilla figure. I do not mind the skinnier suits on this one. I like the design. I personally think it matches what it should be. He's a lot more active, and he's overpowered as hell. This is supposed to be the embodiment of everything awesome about Godzilla. He's indestructible, he's powerful, he's awesome, and he's a father. I like this version of Godzilla. The movie's just fun. Sit down with a friend, put it on, get a DVD for it, throw it in the DVD player, watch it, and enjoy it with a friend. You can goof around. The dubbing on this one is perfect for it. I love this movie, and I think it's amazing. It should be a classic, in my opinion. Just 2 years too. Next, Godzilla 2014. Ah! I know what you're thinking. Let's just talk about how awful it was because Godzilla's not in it. I'll give it a 7. Because Godzilla looks awesome. He is awesome. The Mutos are awesome. I love the Mutos. I feel like they should get a bit more merchandising, in my opinion. I want a message Monster Arts Mutos so bad. Personally, there are a lot of people who got introduced to Godzilla through this movie and became Ultimate G fans. This is a perfect. I think this movie, the cinematic shots in some of these are fantastic. I actually rewatched the entire movie just because I saw one cinematic shot, and I saw it again. It looks fantastic. It's the one where it's a faraway shot of Godzilla on the bridge. Oh my god, it's so good. I love it. Personally, the camera work in that movie is fantastic. The soundtrack is very memorable. I like this movie and I recommend it. Shin Godzilla. We'll go 8. It's amazing. At first, when I first saw this Godzilla design, I was like, that's not Godzilla. Shoo! It's awful! I love it. I love this version of Godzilla. I even have like a Godzilla figure of him right there, I think. Yeah, right there. I like this version of Shin Godzilla. Shin Godzilla is awesome. He's terrifying and he's so evil. He acts like just nature. The political message that it sends is perfect, just like the original. I wouldn't give it perfect because obviously this is you have to be a Godzilla fan to enjoy it. But I do like this movie. Personally, I don't think this version of Godzilla should ever get a sequel. I don't think he really would work for it. Okay, I'm gonna do 1 and then 2 of them together. So, Godzilla Planet of the Monsters. I'll give it a 6. Godzilla, the soundtrack are amazing. The story is fantastic, actually. I love the idea. The characters are a bit iffy, and Godzilla's a bit too slow, in my opinion. I'll give it, let's say 8. Nah, 7. We'll go 7. That's a nice one. Alright. And the other 2 Godzilla anime movies, I'll give them a 4. Godzilla's not enjoyable. The characters are not enjoyable. Story still looks good. It looks fantastic. The effects are pretty good, but other than that, it's really boring. Both Mechagodzilla City and Ghidorah just really don't bring anything new to the table. They're just boring. Well, I do like Ghidorah's roars in the movie, and I do use them myself for Doom Ghidorah, but other than that, other than, I guess, the soundtrack, which actually, now I think about it, wasn't even that memorable, it's not a very good movie. Next, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Ooh, I like this one. I'll give it a 9. 10. You have to be a Godzilla fan, but they stayed super loyal to the source material. I would love this movie. I personally recommend it to anybody who likes Godzilla. The fact they use old Godzilla roars, they even turned his back plates to look like the original Godzilla roars. They stayed so loyal to the source material that it makes me just happy. I am very happy that this movie came out. Burning Godzilla was fantastic. The characters were enjoyable, and the effects were, oh my god, they were amazing. Personally, I feel like the cinematic shots weren't nearly as good as in 2014, but this is a great movie, and I love it. Okay, I'll give it a 9, because it's not perfect. Nothing in this place is perfect. And Godzilla vs. King Kong. As you know, I can't really say what I think about the movie because it's not out yet at this point. I will do a review if you guys like this video, I will do a review when it comes out. But I'm going to talk about some things that I want to see in the movie. Personally, I would love it if Godzilla got a tree shoved down his throat. Or something like that. That'd be a nice little touch from the original. I want them to stay as loyal to the source material as they did in Godzilla King of the Monsters. I loved that. So I hope they do that in Godzilla vs. Kong. And the last thing I want from the Godzilla vs. Kong movie, please let it happen. I want the original Godzilla vs. King Kong theme to play. No matter what. Because that theme is it's snapping. It's really good. It's very iconic, and I hope they use it. Whether it's the original in the credits, I'll be happy with that, or an actual when they eventually fight, because it's Godzilla vs. King Kong. It's gonna happen. Make like a new version of the song, and I will literally squeam it. So I feel like that's it for the video. Check out my YouTube channel. Please subscribe if you like this video. I do animations every week. Like the video if you liked it. If this video gets enough support, I'll do more stuff like this, reviewing some movies. I really have officially watched every Godzilla movie. I'll see you guys in the next video. Brax signing out.